So thank you so much for tolerating load shedding here in South Africa. Every day is a mystery, and today was one of those where trip switches were going and alarms were going and things were just hectic. But I thank you so much for stepping in and allowing me to come on board anyway. I appreciate that. Okay, so let me go to my presentation, share screen. All right, so our topic, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience, and our way forward tonight is on the subtopic of productivity. So what is this quite elusive word, actually, productivity? Because what does it actually mean and what does it actually entail? So the dictionary will tell you a measurement in terms of the amount of output given the input. So what's coming in is going to create something going out. And how we determine whether there's value in the input and the output, we call that productivity. Hopefully positive productivity. You can see from this slide, it is intense. It is loaded with ideas, skills, places of input, places of contribution. It's not just something that is an A, B, and C. Productivity is a combination of concepts and ideas that many departments, many people need to work into in order to have a company not only productive, but profitable as well. So let's move into what we can be doing about this. Some of the symptoms of a lack of productivity can manifest in the formation of frustration, places of anxiety, which can turn into, unfortunately, aggression, despair, despondency, or depression, a sense of hopelessness, or even helplessness. So when there's a lack of productivity and the manifestation of that, then very often that is when companies call me in from the perspective of there's a block, there's a place of lack of productivity, and therefore how do we unfold that? How do we open that up, work through it to find out the cause, because these are just the symptoms, remember, find out the cause of what is causing these symptoms. And of course, remember that there is an increase in emotions when there's frustrations, and sadly enough, when that does happen, there's a decrease in intelligence. Somehow intelligence goes out the window because the emotions just take over, and there is upheaval, there's chaos, there is dysfunction, there's usually a lack of productivity. So I think the trick here is for people, departments, companies to come to a place of responsibility. For when we live into above the line, the responsibility of what's going on, then we can stop ourselves from going below the line into what is usually our first port of call, going into blame or excuses, going into denial, justification. And my golly, when that happens, so easy is it to quit, to throw in the towel, to give up, to walk out. So the call, and this is where coaching comes in so well, and the counseling work that I do comes in so well, is that we are called to find a place of responsibility in the scenario. What is mine? What can I take ownership of? Because when we come to that place, then there's an action that we can take. It's a very powerful place, actually. This word responsibility is the ability to respond. And if we have the ability to respond, therefore, we have the ability to think it through, to find a solution. Even if it is not the correct solution up front, at least start with something and let it unfold. Respond by action. Take responsibility so that there's a way forward. It's Dr. Viktor Frankl. Better people, not in spite of, but because of the very circumstances that they found themselves in. If we are called to be these better people, if we are called to find value in the situation that we find ourselves in, we are called to find meaning in the frustration, in the lack of productivity, then we can step into our responsibility. Then we can step into taking ownership of what it is ours to do or not do, actually, too. Yes. Release the crud. The crud is all that stuff that you have no power over, all that past emotion, all that gunge that doesn't serve you. Release that. For in the release of that, in the release of the frustration, in the release of the anxiety, in the release of the pent-up depression, etc., there's a place to breathe. There's a place to come into a safe space. There's a place for the brain to start to think again, the body and the heart to open, for the universe to come back into operation with us, conspiring with us, as opposed to our horror thinking of everything is against us, the world is against us, people are against us. All these emotions that come up and create blockages, cutting ourselves off. That is such an important part of this process. And sometimes it can just be sitting down with your journal and writing it through, taking on a coach, a counselor, because sometimes, yes, sadly, those emotions are so pent up that it creates and manifests not only the symptoms I described earlier, but disease, heartache, horrors, life horrors. So we have to release this crud. We have to process the emotions out. So I alluded to this a moment ago. What is ours to do and what is ours not to do? We don't want to go into micromanaging. We don't want to go into a place that is unnecessary for us to get involved. If we're going to take responsibility, if we're going to live above the line of responsibility and ownership, we need to understand what is ours to do in this scenario of productivity. Delegation, other people, team members, we all have a place to play in. We need to be understanding what is ours to do. That does not prevent us from lending a hand, offering a suggestion, a kind word to somebody who's not performing that ought to be performing. But we do need to know what is ours to do, because otherwise we're going to get caught up and we're going to get pulled down into what is not necessarily our responsibility. Oh yeah, just stop doing what does not work. Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a new result. Nope. That is not the case. We have to consciously become aware of what does not work. When we become aware of that, we can say, cancel. If that's canceled, move it out of the way. New action, new strategy. What can I start doing that we can investigate that it will work? And if again not, move it out of the way, but keep moving. Just get started in movement, and the process will reveal itself to us. Productivity, yes, of course, is all about this strategizing a way forward. Productivity without a vision, a goal, action certainly cannot produce any form of success, any form of profitability, any form of happiness, of purpose, of production, vision. If it's not first seen in the mind, in the heart, in the being, if it's not then actioned because of the goal, the specific goal, there's no chance of success. This is part of what productivity is looking like. We've got to know what we're after. What we're after, so often we forget to look underneath. What are we after? If there is no meaning in what we're after, why would we ever work into mission and purpose? If there is no buy-in, if there is no depth, there's no drive, there's no getting out of bed in the morning, there's no pitching up and arriving, showing up, yet alone productive. So meaning and purpose is all part of this moving forward into, yes, the vision, yes, the goal, and certainly, yes, the action. When it is that we have the meaning and the purpose in place, that is when we have a good chance of fulfilling the objective, fulfillment of the project. The good news here is that when we learn this process, the depth of us, the encounter with self, the encounter with true self, that is when we get to understand what the fulfillment of life is about. The fulfillment of life is possible simply because there's a process, simply because there is meaning and purpose and fulfillment of life. Oh yeah, and of course there's this thing that we all have to deal with, the conditioning. The little voice that goes, yep, 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 sitting on our shoulders, and we have to manage that. The mindset that comes from the past and the mindset that we need to move into, from letting go of the crud, of letting go of what does not work, of letting go of what is not mine to do, creating a new mindset, being clear of what is meaningful, what is purposeful here, so that we can move into action. And that action will be driven with power when we get that piece right. There is a result that will happen simply because of those actions. But more importantly is the process itself. For in the process itself, there will be results that weren't even perceived in the development goal setting stage. There will be results more subtle, more exciting. Wonder why you didn't think about that before. So the process is very important. It is not just about the money, the bottom line. It's also about, and so what else happened? In what way did the universe support us? In what way did something new come to us? a new idea, a new process, a new way forward. So this is a very exciting place to be in. When you're conscious of this piece of the puzzle, you end up with wins, you end up with gratitude, you end up with appreciation, because life is so much more, so much bigger than just what we're thinking, just who we are as human beings, because we have the universe supporting us as well. It's all about energy. It's all about energy. What energy we put out there is exactly the energy that we're going to receive. So in tonight's debacle about getting onto Internation's Global Innovations tonight, I could have either lost it or stayed calm. I chose to stay calm and follow a process of this, and this. And in so doing, thank you, God, I got on. But it's about the energy. Ladies and gentlemen, if we just get this one piece, that what we put out is what we receive. If we can put out calmness in chaos, if we can put out systems and strategy in chaos, we can attract productivity. We can attract an outcome that we've been looking for. We can attract universal support. We can attract things better, bigger than we've even thought of. It's all about energy. And so now, given our global religious holidays, my thought to us tonight is, and what if we put productivity into the conscious, collective, uplifted energy? What if we piggybacked on a universal love that's going to be happening over the next few days? What if we put our intentions, our goals into this beautiful global holiday time? I'm going to put a challenge out. What about this time next week, jotting down all the new wins, all the new blessings, all the unexpected that has come out of incorporating our intentions into this time of global love, into this time of global unity? What could happen? Miracles, I believe, miracles. So, what if responsibility is taken on? What if release of crud is taken on? What if collective consciousness energy is taken on? Together with our dream, our vision, our intention, what possible results and productivity can manifest from that? I'm looking forward to next Thursday and getting your responses on that question. So I am Dr. Barbara Johnson. I am known as the People Developer. I do work with trauma, transformation, transcendence, and certainly at the moment, transference of wealth in the time of money crisis. I counsel, coach. I consult to individuals and teams, both privately and in companies. Please do take a snapshot of this. I would love to hear your responses to this presentation. Jot me an email if you like with those blessings. I would love to hear from you. And in the meantime, I'm going to stop sharing my screen.